Shalom. First off, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Baharachak Kodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS who have taught us this word and teach us this word today. And I want to give a salutation unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Yatazakbab at the GMS Nebraska camp, and this is GMS Endeavor. And in this lesson, what I wanted to get into is, a development as of late that happened, within this past day or so, where Trump basically, sent out the message that, the Israelis and Iran were agreeing to a ceasefire, and right after that, there was news updates that both the Israelis and Iran, they violated the ceasefire. They are still attacking each other, and Trump was all upset about it, that they wasn't listening, that they wasn't, agreeing to the deal, because he's trying to mitigate this war. He's trying to be, credited as the one who stopped the war, the one who brought peace and all that. But at the end of the day, it's not his plans that's going to stand. It's not, anybody's plans that's going to stand other than the Lord's. We read here in Proverbs chapter 19, verse 21, there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. We can come up with these different things that we want to do, things in our life that we want to accomplish, or using this example, with Trump, he's talking to Iran, he's talking to Netanyahu. He's saying, hey, y'all come to this ceasefire agreement. We don't need to do all this. But at the end of the day, the scriptures say what? The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Roughly paraphrasing, as the rivers, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So the Lord is it was the Lord's purpose that he put it in their hearts to continue to fight. Because at the end of the day, prophecy has to come to pass, and prophecy is the Lord's, the Lord's purpose. When we get to Isaiah chapter 46, verse 10, it says, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. So the Lord has a layout of how things are going to happen. Time is in his hand. Everything is in the Lord's hand. So from the beginning, he has had everything set out on what was going to come to pass. It was the Lord's, plans that, this war would happen, and that it would persist. Because even I had an incorrect notion in the lesson that I did yesterday. I was saying that things are going to cool down before they get to higher levels, because we are going to see the MOTB before we get to the peak of World War III. So I was thinking that ceasefire was actually going to last for longer than it did, but nah, they still going at it, and that's just the way that the Lord wants to do it. Because at the end of the day, we have to get to the prophecy of the Valley of Jehoshaphat, of Armageddon. The Lord is going to cause these armies to be gathered over there, by the Persian Gulf, in Saudi Arabia, and that whole area, to judge, those soldiers. The scriptures tell us that this is going to happen. The scriptures tell us that World War III is going to come, that Babylon the Great, which is America, is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear war at the peak of World War III. The scriptures tell us these different things, and that's going to happen. So if you have different leaders in this world, such as Trump, for example, that want to push toward peace, you can do whatever you want to do. You can have whatever talks you want to have. But at the end of the day, that peace ain't going to come, because it's of the Lord's will that wars are going to happen. Wars and rumors of wars. Let's get I had a precept. We don't need that one. We're gonna get Isaiah chapter 55, verse 11, which says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. And all these scriptures, all these prophecies that we read, this is the word of the Lord. I was going to skip the precept, but we're actually going to get it. 2 Peter chapter 1 verse 21, which says, for the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of the Most High spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. So these prophecies come by way of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and us prophets are able to interpret these prophecies and preach them and break them down by what? The Holy Spirit. And so when we go back to Isaiah chapter 55, what did it say? That the Lord's word is not going to go out void. All these prophecies, all these scriptures that we read is the word of the Lord, and the Lord isn't going to make a promise or say that something is going to happen and it doesn't happen. That's not how the Lord rolls. The scriptures say that the Lord is not a man that he shall lie. So these things are going to come to pass. No matter what somebody tries to do to mitigate it, no matter what somebody thinks should happen. No, we're going to stick to prophecy. Even that's why there's doubts. For example, I did a lesson with, I forget what the situation was, but there was a ceasefire agreement probably a month back between Israel and I believe Hamas. They had a ceasefire agreement, and I said in the lesson, this is going to fall through. Why? Because we're sticking to prophecy. These leaders have their different things that they want to do, but it doesn't matter what they want to do. It matters what the Lord wants to happen. So that's how we know that when they come up with a ceasefire agreement, when certain updates happen in the news, we know certain things to just look past and know that it's BS, or know that it's not going to persist, because at the end of the day, the Lord's word is going to persist, and that's faithful and true. That's something that you can count on regardless. So let's get we're going to get this last precept, which is 2 Ezra chapter 7 verse 43. It says, but the day of doom shall be the end of this time. Everything within these updates with this war, everything that we're leading to, that's culminating to World War III, it's for a purpose. The day of doom that it speaks of here is World War III is a part of that. The destruction of Babylon the Great, the destruction of Esau's kingdom. That's the day of doom, and it's saying that it's going to be the end of this time. It's going to be the end of Esau's rulership. And we read, and it says, in the beginning of the immortality for to come, wherein corruption is past. That's when the nation of Israel comes into power. That's when we're in our second covenant. That's when as we read, Esau's the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, where the world is going to be ruled in righteousness. Everything that the Lord has moving is for a purpose. And it's for what purpose? It's so that his nation is going to be on top. It's so that Esau can be judged and taken down. And this is going to happen. We're counting on this. It says, intemperance is at an end, infidelity is cut off, righteousness is grown, and truth is sprung up. If this war doesn't take place, if these prophecies don't take place, Esau is just going to continue to rule, and the Lord isn't going to allow that. The Lord isn't going to allow the earth to continue to be polluted with all the wickedness that's herein. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Just want to put that out there, that we're going to see ups and downs in the news in regards to the temperature at which prophecy is boiling. But at the end of the day, what we know is that it's going to come to pass ultimately. And it was beautiful to see that they put that ceasefire out there. And I was thinking that, man, all right, well, that's a little pause in this, but nah, they went right back to going at it. So Lord willing, we see more of a push with Esau implementing this beast system, implementing this AI, implementing his surveillance, ultimately implementing his MOTB. Hopefully we see a larger rise in that sooner than later. But as the scriptures say, let's grab Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, a very relevant precept, which says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahar Chakodash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of GMS, and a salutation unto the elect. Shalom.